Dormen. The Dorset Business Mentoring Programme provides one-to-one mentoring support for small businesses across Bournemouth, Dorset and Poole. We're currently working with about 150 businesses, ranging from sole traders to medium-sized companies. And since it started in 2005, the programme has supported well over 500 businesses. Our volunteer mentors are all experienced business and professional people who give their time and expertise free of charge. Mentors can't work miracles, but they can help clients to review their operations and plans and act as a sounding board.
I made a dovecot for myself and several people liked it, and so they asked me to make them for them. So we started up the business, originally building dovecots, bird tables and virtually anything else that I could out of wood, and haven't looked back since, really.
It started off with me supplementing my student income with making cakes and selling them on my bike. So it was quite straightforward, quite simple, and my accounting was basic to say the least. It was just keeping receipts in shoeboxes in vaguely the right order.
We delivered to local clients a healthy meal delivery, and about 3 years ago now we launched nationwide, which was a real big growth phase for the business. Predominantly most of our clients are in London now.
We've been in the building business for a very long time, mostly traditional and sustainable building, and we could see huge skills shortage which spread out equally into the world of rural skills. Then we took over the buildings and turned them into a training centre.
Fab Frocks started in 2003, initially selling evening wear and dressy day wear to customers, and it's expanded over that time into more special occasion, mother of the bride and groom outfits, bridesmaids dresses, and latterly wedding dresses as well.
The bakery, we started in the year 2000. We operate in a number of areas. We are a retail business. We sell retail direct to the public here in shops and also farmers markets. We also have a wholesale business.
The project is called the Purbeck Keystone Project, and it covers conservation, education, and then we also have a cultural programme of work of which the Stone Centre is part, and that's all about Purbeck stone and dry stone walls and stone carving skills, and enabling people to have a go and to learn those skills.
The upturn in trade has really gone far beyond what we expected it to. We didn't really have enough staff in place to cope with what was coming, and we just felt totally overwhelmed by all the business that we were doing and making the decisions of where we had to go. We just didn't have the time, working very long hours, and just totally overwhelmed by it all.
I came into the business to work with Andy to specifically look at training and different types of grants that we could access. And while I was looking for all the grants, I did come across the Dormen being advertised, and Business Link actually told me about it as well. And I thought that would be brilliant for us because Andy's had no official training at all, and I thought this could be a really good way for him to access expertise, business expertise, without having to go through an academic route as such, because he hasn't got time to do that.
I was kind of against having a mentor to start with. Julie, my wife, talked me into it. I agreed and not regretted it, to be honest. You know, I met Jeff, who was assigned to us at the start, and we kind of gelled straight away.
We were doing lots of questioning of ourselves as to what we actually wanted, what kind of business would suit us personally from a personality profile point of view. And so there are quite some fundamental questions that we needed to answer.
They were supplying to Sainsbury's, to John Lewis, to Waitrose, and subsequently they provide other supermarket chains with their products. So it's a very strong brand and with some prime customers. But what I think they were lacking was clarity in where they were trying to take their business.
We were finding that the growth of the business was being hindered by the space that we had, particularly at weekends, where Saturdays we'd find that the 4 changing rooms we had would be constantly in use all day. We needed to make the decision for the business about what to do next.
We had a big growth spurt to the business itself, and it came to a point where we needed to move. Our premises were too small. We were outsourcing our catering, and we decided to bring all that in-house and relocate. At that stage, we were still working with Business Link, who we've worked with for about 4 years now, and they recommended the Dormen scheme. And that's really where we came to it, and it was a fantastic opportunity for us.
We're happy with the product and we won prizes for it. And you find yourself, I think, as somebody who's interested in the product, more like an artisan, I guess, coming up against some strategic issues which you don't really know how to solve.
When I first met Jamie, he talked about the growth of the business over the last 10 years, and it really had been outstanding. The key question, I guess, was where do I go next? We've got so far. How do we grow the business? Where do we grow it? And I think the key question then that I asked was where, and in fact the question I think that Jamie was also asking was, well, where are we making money out of the business? Where is the best place to grow?
We were finding that things like long-term planning and business plans were being put to one side just for the sake, just because we were doing the day-to-day running. So to be introduced to a mentoring facility was probably one of the best things that could have happened.
Over the years, we've had close links with Business Link off and on, and I just needed a bit of extra support. They sort of put me in touch with Dormen, and I thought, oh, what a great idea! Let's give it a crack.
The minute I met him, I just thought, yeah, I can definitely work with this guy. Came up on his motorbike, completely different to what you'd imagine. First of all, he just came in and found out about the business. He sat and listened to me and talked to him about the history and where we wanted to go and where we were at. It was really useful to stop and just think, actually, we could do so much more if we take a step back and look at it and do it differently.
We got along famously with him. He's got big business experience, and so he sort of helped us get the art of the overview of what's really going on in the background and what we needed to be looking at.
He just made us sit down and plan things over the next year, over the next 2 years, 3 years, and make us look at where we wanted to take the business and therefore what we needed to do now to actually get it to that place.
He has a way of asking a question, and then when you avoid it, come back to it half an hour later, and then half an hour after that until you actually give him the answer he's looking for. Which is very good, because I think, as with all things in life, whether it's family or business, there are questions you run away from.
It's a totally fresh pair of eyes, and that was one of the best things we ever did. It really was wonderful. As
Managers, we've really come on. We feel in control of the business, as much as you can be, with any business, and we weren't before.
Mike, very skillfully, without us really noticing, got us to work in a much more structured way. And by putting the structure in place and having the discipline of the mentor meetings and preparing for them and imposing on us this horrible business plan that he made us do, actually got us to answer those questions that we've been wrestling with right at the beginning.
What did they want their business to be in a few years' time? Did they want it to be a big business operating out of a factory with lots of employees, or did they want it to be a home business run in a more artisan type of way? And they answered those questions, but it took them time to come up with the answers.
First thing we did, something really simple that you don't always do when you've got a business, put up pieces of paper all over the walls and wrote down our current clients, what our customer profiles were, where we wanted to get new clients from, any ideas that we had about obtaining new clients, about contacting our existing clients, and just really looking at the whole business, taking a step back and looking at it and thinking, that's what we're about, this is what we do, how do we do it better, and how can we keep interacting with our current clients?
We had really made the decision, I suppose, ourselves, but we had 2 or 3 options that we needed to work through, and we needed someone to bounce that off of. And Melvin really fulfilled that role in helping us make a decision that we were confident with. He had a really good retail background, and that really matched in with what we were looking for. So it was actually quite easy, because he slotted straight into what we needed. It's a good way of going through the growth potential of your business, and actually using someone else's experience, really exploiting someone else's experience to help you move your business forward.
They're completely impartial in the advice they give you. It's based on their experience, and at the end of the day, experience is such a valuable tool. In our company, we have obviously various departments. We also have a general haulage department, which is dedicated door-to-door delivery. And they're in a separate office to the other guys. So, I always fancy there was an opportunity we're missing there with crossroad freight between departments. And the only way we could really get that together was to get them into the one office. And I was talking to Jerry about this one day, and he said, well, when I was in business, he had a very similar situation where he put various people together. And of course, you've got the element of change coming into all this. And some people don't like change very much. And it was the politics of all that and how we were going to do it. And he really encouraged us to go for it.
It was just data from here to the yin-yang. And I mean, it was just, how do we, what is this telling me? And there was a sort of eureka moment which sort of said, hey, guess what? It takes about the same amount of time to make a 400-gram loaf as it takes to make an 800-gram loaf. And that was one of those aha moments. And you then say, interesting. So how do we do the pricing on?
We did increase the price, and we briefed the salespeople saying, you're going to get an awful lot of stick for this. It's going to be very, significant hike. And in fact, we had very little reaction at all from the customers.
There were some very specific things that Trevor helped us with. For instance, there are 3 courses which go naturally together, and that is building with straw bales, lime rendering, and building with earth, cob. And we worked with Trevor about putting these together to form one particular course which combined all 3. And that actually is very successful. We find that we've got people filling 3 courses where they might have only filled 1 before. You can spend a lot of time looking for funding, which you haven't got time to spend, and then you don't get the funding, and you don't get paid for looking for it. So Trevor helped us look for much more efficient ways to achieve that funding.
Sometimes he sort of sets us deadlines for doing certain tasks. Other times he'll suggest that we do something and to contact him once we've done it. So you don't feel like you're under sort of time restrictions or anything like that. We just sort of discuss where we're going next and timescales for that. And we keep reviewing where we are and what we need to look at next.
We knew we had to do certain things, but he's really helped us to do those a lot more quickly and make things happen faster. There are times when I felt very on my own in that situation, and the business, it's been great to have my business mentor there to talk to and say, I don't know what to do. Some people want to do this, others want to do that. So he's been really brilliant in that respect.
The key thing about mentoring is that it's really all about listening to the mentees and trying to understand how they see their business and indeed sometimes how they see the world, and then responding in a way that is helpful to them, to enable them to come up with their own solutions to their problems. And sometimes that's about facilitating their thinking and facilitating the way they approach things. But it's really, I think, for me, it's about listening to them and encouraging people to believe in their objectives and then find ways of satisfying or achieving those objectives from their own resources.
I felt frustrated initially, at least, at the time that was going to be spent, which I think must be a classic, of spending time not actually doing what I felt the business might require, of being on the phone, selling, doing all those kind of actions that I was so used to, and having to take time to actually plan. It's like, this is taking ages, there's loads of detail which I'm not very good at, but as it unfolded, and it became very, very clear over a period of 4 or 5 months, I would say, that this was what was lacking.
I've got quite a strong character, I've got to be honest, and I think Jeff realised that from day one. I'm quite opinionated. For me, I thought it was going to be difficult, but it wasn't.
If I'd just gone along with everything that he'd said, then I think he would have just said, well, this is a waste of time because you're not actually contributing anything. We have had some quite lively debates, I think, but they've always been in the right in the right spirit.
We were talking about how to communicate with the team, and Mike drew on his own experience of involving them before you brief them. You actually ask their opinions and fold that into your strategy and your planning, and then you also then report back and keep that communication going all the way through in quite a structured way. And we thought that that would be difficult, and we had quite a robust conversation about that at the time, but that has proved to be extremely valuable.
The first meeting I thought, what's going on here? But then when I thought about it, I thought, this is what we need. We need to be challenged, we need to be pushed, we need to be, shoved in certain directions just to make sure this is the right way. And he's been really helpful on various projects, and quite often he'll niggle me about something, and if I haven't done something, the next time he meets he asks why.
You're going to ask awkward questions from time to time, but one's got to remember that it's the client who's got to make a decision. You can't make it for them.
He challenges me, often asks me why I'm doing this, why I'm doing that, but it's not a matter of, the mentor scheme isn't about saying you must do this, you must do that. It's about making me question my decisions and working with me to come to a solution that is inevitably mine, because it's my business. So that's really how we work. But I think that would be the only thing that can cause conflict, if someone outside comes and sort of tries to tell you how to run your business. But it's not about that at all. So I've had a fantastic experience with that.
We're at this moment at the point of putting into play work that we've been doing over a long period of time, and that's negotiating with a particular customer. And we've negotiated price increases with this particular customer, and those are going to be put in place in the next few weeks. So we'll see.
I think we've become a lot more professional. I think we've become a lot more structured in how we work. We've enjoyed the discipline, which I think surprised us all, of having the meetings and preparing for them.
I think the last year and a half has brought castle building up to date, with the training programs that we've done, all the reviews that we do with the staff, and all the help we get in the office with the new systems that we've managed to put in place because of it.
We've actually seen growth that's enabled us to expand. We've had a new website developed since then, which David's also looked at with us. We contact clients more regularly, putting in place all the ideas that we had, actually putting structure behind them and making sure that things that we want to do get done. Because that's it, we've got 10 employees now, and there's not enough time in the day.
We started opening on a Sunday and found that actually that added another month's takings to our business by opening for those 12 or 13 Sundays each year. And that's been a great success with our customers, who find that they can actually get together and turn up at a shop to make decisions about what outfit they want to buy for a wedding or a prom when all the family's there. Bottom line means that we've been in double-digit growth right the way through the recession so far, just finishing our financial year for the last 12 months. So I don't think you can really complain that that's not a good result.
We've made this bold statement now, moving to this 54,000 square foot facility, because we just felt that when the recession finishes, we want to be in a good position to move forward. And with the figures coming through this last 2 or 3 weeks, it's certainly proved the point that the decision we made to move here was great, and Jerry was certainly helpful in making that decision.
We're moving ahead with more enthusiasm. You tend to, going back to just dealing with the day-to-day running business, you get bogged down in it, and there's a danger of losing heart, and you can't see a way forward. So if somebody comes in with the enthusiasm that he brought to it, it has rekindled our enthusiasm.
I'd say try it. Really, really try it. There's nothing to lose.
I would say if you've got the opportunity to do it, definitely do it, because it's been phenomenal.
I would recommend it very highly indeed.
It's having the luxury of being able to talk things through in a meaningful, safe place, and being able to bounce ideas off somebody who is acting in your best interests. It's invaluable.
Jump at the chance, because it can really help you grow your business.
Do try it.
Definitely do it.
I would advise them to take it on. Yeah, definitely.
It's such a benefit.
It may not be an easy thing to do, but I think you will find it very useful.
In many ways, if you think your business doesn't need mentoring, you're probably missing something.
I'm always amazed what's behind the hedgerows in Dorset. Every hedgerow in Dorset has got a thriving business, and this is one of them, and it's very exciting.